Hey everyone, Chindam here. Welcome back to Mind Matters. We're about to dive into a topic that's definitely mind-bending: psychedelic therapy. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't that like hippies and Woodstock stuff? Well, yeah, it was. But hold on to your neurons, because science is taking a fresh look at these substances. Imagine walking into therapy, and instead of daily pills, you're offered one guided trip on a magic mushroom to reboot the mind. No lava lamp required. We're talking about using compounds like Psilocybin, that's the active ingredient in those shrooms, to actually rewire brains struggling with depression, PTSD, even addiction. Buckle up, we're exploring how psychedelic medicine leapt from rave flyer to research lab. For decades, psychedelics were seen as, well, illicit party drugs. They were swept up in the war on drugs, research went dormant, and the stigma, well, it stuck around like an unwelcome houseguest. But something interesting happened in the last decade or so. Scientists, those brave souls always asking what if, started looking again, this time with rigorous methods and brain imaging technology that simply didn't exist back in the 60s. And guess what? The results are pretty astounding. After a 50-year ban, psychedelics are back in white coats. The US FDA has now granted breakthrough therapy status to psilocybin for untreatable depression and MDMA for PTSD. That's huge. It means the FDA recognizes these substances might actually be better than existing treatments for some of the toughest mental health challenges we face. Now I know what you're thinking. Hold on, Neil, isn't this stuff dangerous? And that's the right question to ask. We'll definitely get into the risks and what we still don't know because, hey, this is science, and there are always more questions. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does the research actually say? One of the most exciting findings is the speed at which these therapies seem to work. We're talking about single-dose psilocybin cutting major depression scores for weeks in multiple trials. That's right, weeks, not months of daily pills. But it's not just about symptom relief, it's about how these substances might be fundamentally changing the way the brain works. Brain reboot, MRI scans, show the drug temporarily loosens the brain's default mode network, letting stuck thought loops reset. This default mode network is basically your brain on autopilot, the same old thoughts, the same old anxieties playing on repeat. Psychedelics seem to disrupt that, allowing for new connections and ways of thinking to emerge. And for PTSD, which can be incredibly difficult to treat, the results are, frankly, remarkable. Phase 3 success. In a 2023 study, 63% of severe PTSD patients no longer met PTSD criteria 2 months after MDMA-assisted therapy. Now, a word of caution. Serious side effects were rare but included blood pressure spikes and jaw tension. More research is needed, but these early findings are giving hope to people who've tried everything else. So how do you actually get this kind of therapy? Well, it's still early days, but things are moving fast. Oregon just launched the first licensed psilocybin service centers. No prescription, but you must trip with a trained facilitator. That's right, no doctor's note required. Colorado votes next year on a similar model, and other states are watching closely. This is a radical shift, folks. We're talking about potentially moving away from the traditional medical model of here's a pill, see you next month, to a more holistic approach that incorporates therapy, intention setting, and yes, even spirituality. It's about meeting people where they are and recognizing that healing is not one size fits all. Now this doesn't mean you should be ordering mystery mushrooms off the internet. That's a recipe for disaster. Safety and proper guidance are absolutely crucial, and we need to be very clear about that. But the fact that we're even having this conversation, that these therapies are becoming legal and accessible, is a testament to the power of scientific inquiry and the very human desire to heal. So, what does a psychedelic therapy session actually look like? Well, picture this. You walk into a comfortable living room-like setting. No sterile doctor's office here. You've already had 3 to 4 talk therapy visits to set goals and build trust with your guides. On dosing day, you put on eye shades, headphones playing calming music, and settle in for a 6-hour inward journey. 2 trained facilitators are there the whole time, not to direct your experience, but to hold space for whatever emotions or insights arise. It's about surrendering to the process, facing whatever comes up, and allowing the medicine to do its work. But it's not all about the trip itself. Integration debrief sessions turn insights into life changes. This is where you process the experience, make sense of any visions or revelations, and most importantly, figure out how to integrate those insights into your daily life. And here's a fascinating tidbit. Mystical score fun fact: the more awe a person reports, the bigger their depression drop. Yes, science measures awe now. It seems that tapping into something larger than ourselves, experiencing a sense of wonder and connection, can be a powerful catalyst for healing. Now let's be real, folks. Psychedelics are powerful substances and they're not for everyone. There are risks, just like with any medical treatment. One concern is the potential impact on the heart. Frequent high-dose use may overstimulate 5-HT2B receptors. Think fen-phen era. That's why careful screening and monitoring are essential. Another concern is the potential for psychosis. Anyone with active psychosis or bipolar mania is screened out. These substances can exacerbate underlying mental health conditions, so it's crucial to work with qualified professionals. But the roadblocks aren't just medical, they're also economic. One MDMA protocol involves over 80 therapist hours, price tag around $12,000. That's a significant barrier for many people. And then there's the ever-present challenge of navigating the FDA's regulatory maze. The FDA recently told MDMA researchers to run another phase 3 trial after data integrity concerns. This back and forth can slow down research and delay access to potentially life-changing therapies. It's a complex landscape, folks, and we need to be mindful of both the potential benefits and the very real risks. So, why are we even talking about this? Why are scientists and doctors and yes, even governments taking another look at psychedelics? Because the need for new and effective mental health treatments is enormous. Close to 300 million people battle depression or PTSD worldwide. These conditions cause immense suffering, not just for individuals but for families, communities, and entire societies. Existing meds help some, but many feel numb, not healed. Antidepressants, while sometimes life-saving, can have side effects, and they don't work for everyone. Psychedelic therapy aims for transformative change, sometimes after just 1 or 2 sessions. It's not about masking symptoms, it's about getting to the root of the problem, rewiring those stuck patterns of thinking and behaving. This is about more than just new drugs, folks. It's about a paradigm shift in how we approach mental health, a recognition that healing is possible, even for those who've lost hope. The field of psychedelic medicine is evolving rapidly, with new discoveries happening all the time. One recent study really caught my eye. A head-to-head trial comparing Psilocybin to escitalopram, a commonly prescribed antidepressant. New Psilocybin versus escitalopram head-to-head found similar symptom drops, but Psilocybin scored higher on well-being. Participants who received Psilocybin reported not just feeling better, but experiencing a greater sense of connection, purpose, and overall well-being. And because of those cost and cardiac risk concerns, scientists are exploring new ways to administer these therapies. Ongoing studies test low-dose microtherapy to reduce cost and cardiac risk. The idea is that by giving smaller, more frequent doses, we might be able to achieve similar benefits without the potential downsides. Finally, it's crucial to acknowledge the role of indigenous cultures who've been using these plant medicines for centuries. Indigenous-led clinics argue for cultural ownership of plant medicines. It's about respecting traditional knowledge, ensuring that these communities benefit from the research, and avoiding the exploitation that's often plagued the pharmaceutical industry. Look, psychedelics aren't magic bullets or party tricks. We need more research, better access, and responsible regulation to ensure these therapies are safe and effective. But the evidence is mounting that, under skilled guidance, they can reboot stuck brains and rekindle hope for millions who thought healing was out of reach. This is a conversation that's just beginning, folks. It's about time we shine the light of science on these substances and explore their potential to alleviate suffering. Smash like, hit subscribe to Mind Matters Y6T, and tell us, would you try a legally guided psychedelic session? We want to hear your thoughts. Remember, this is for educational purposes only. Consult your doctor for any health issues.